G'day authors, writers and enthusiasts. Let's talk theme. Before we begin, a quick note regarding my active brainstorming video. That's going to be a BitChute exclusive because it's taking longer to edit than I thought it would. In addition, the brainstorming sheet, once it's finished, will be a reward for subscribing on Subscribestar or Patreon. Now, what is a theme exactly? A theme is a lesson or an idea expressed through a piece of media. It's usually intended by the author, however, the way the reader interprets it does influence it as well. Think of Huxley's Brave New World. You can easily see how he's trying to show the problems with consumerism and scientism in the place of proper state. However, one could read into that consumerism and scientism is a way towards utopia, because everyone in the society is happy in their place and there's no dissent. It's even easier to see in fairy tales. Take the example of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. That is a very clear author intention of teaching that it is bad to lie. However, as pointed out by Garak in Deep Space Nine, very good Star Trek series, you should watch it, absolutely. That story can be read as suggesting the lesson of never tell the same lie twice. Theme can be either direct and easy to spot, or it can be very vague and make people have to think to decipher it. It can be almost unique, or it can be something that's been done 100 times before, in 100 different ways. All of which can turn out some very fantastic novels, by the way. You might be asking yourself if your theme is really even necessary in a story, and if not, why even choose one? Well, the answer is no, it is not absolutely necessary to choose a theme when you're writing. Oftentimes one will develop, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you needed to know before you started writing. There's an advantage in knowing what themes you want to present themselves in your story from the get-go. For example, you could use the theme to determine what kind of conflicts your protagonist goes through, and how they rhyme over and over as he starts struggling to learn the lesson himself. Or it could determine the protagonist and antagonist's motives or their personality, especially in a fantasy novel or a sci-fi or some action-based thing. However, it could still work within a romance or a mystery. These are just some ideas of what theme can do. They could help set the setting itself. You could even build your entire plot on top of a theme. Say you want to write a story in which the theme is surveillance, and how much is too much. So you start and you build a story based on that. You build a world in which the government watches every move everyone makes, every word they say, every email, every letter they send. They gather all this knowledge, and they can use this knowledge to help predict what people are going to do. They use this knowledge to predict how they'll react to things, and then change information so that they have the world that they feel is best. And all of a sudden you've written 1984, possibly one of the greatest dystopian novels of all time. But as I said, you can also write a story with no theme in mind. You can write it so there's no poetic rhyming in the actions and events. There's no dramatic contrast in the way the antagonist and protagonist exist. And there's no poetic similarity between them. It's just a story where things occur without trying to take you down the primrose path towards understanding a lesson. However, if you do write a novel where there is no theme, you can't control what people think of your book, so they will likely take lessons away from it. But that can be a good thing. It means that there will be more people finding more themes in it than you intended, and it can help them learn lessons that they've been struggling to understand in their life. Or it'll just be a fun thing to peruse through while they're waiting for the doctor or something. Or it'll be like Alice in Wonderland and become a cult classic. And now we come to the important part of this. How do we choose a theme? Well, if you're not going to choose a theme, I recommend watching to the end of this video in case you do for the next one. But if you do choose a theme, there's plenty of ways you can do so. I, personally, have them pop up as abstract ideas while I'm writing. For example, with the novel that I'm going to write for this Let's Write, I have a theme of love conquering bitterness as a side plot. It's a micro theme within it, because a couple of the characters on either side of the conflict are in love. But I have a much deeper theme in mind that I've come up with because I was writing a character, and the way this character worked would benefit from a specific theme. However, if you don't want to come up with your themes in that manner, which I can understand, there are plenty of lists online which give you some common themes to start from and determine from there. You can ask yourself questions of what do you feel your characters should learn? What do you think the world needs to know? What inner truth do you know and it took you too long to realize? Things like that. Lessons don't have to be grandiose and fantastic. They can be very simple things taught in a new way. However, that's generally the basis of theme. And I will go into a long form about the lessons we learn from stories in a different video, because it's a very fascinating topic for me. Some of the deep questions you could ask are things generally about the human condition, like what is good? How does parental activity affect the mind of a growing child? Or what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. I can't choose your theme for you. I'm not going to be doing anything of the sort in any aspect of this. I'm not going to do it for you. You're going to have to figure it out. And that's the best way to learn, is by experience. So, your homework is to come up with at least one main theme and several sub-themes for your novel. You don't have to come up with a theme if you decide not to, you need to come up with some way of compensating for that. Especially if you want the novel itself to have determinately no theme, as opposed to no intended theme. Okay. It's late, I am tired, and I am sweaty, because it is summer in Australia, and I am absolutely wrecked. If you like this video, give it a like, or the BitChute equivalent. Share it everywhere, but don't spam anyone. Leave a comment down below on what you think would be some cool themes to include. And I'll see you in the next one. Get writing.